Pregnancy booster clomid. How to take clomid to get pregnant. In this video today, we are going to discuss about clomid. Have you been asking yourself, how are you supposed to take clomid? Have you been asking yourself, how are you going to take the clomid? And specifically, you've been given clomid, but you are asking yourself, when should you take clomid? In this video today, we are going to discuss all this. Mu video yaffe ya leero tugenda kwogera ku osobola otya okuba ng'omira clomid. Dokita wo akwandikidde clomid naye oli kwebuuza ogenda kuba omira otya clomid. So without further ado, clomid is a fertility drug. It's one of the drugs we use in treating fertility issues, but specifically, this drug specifically brings about the whole process of ovulation. It stimulates ovulation. So clomid is also known as, or it contains the active ingredient known as clomiphene citrate. So what happens is that when a woman takes clomid, it's going to bring about ovulation, just as we have said. But remember, if you are to take clomid, you specifically begin taking this clomid at a particular period of your menstrual cycle. Mu video yaffe ne ya leero tuli kwogera ku omira otya clomid. Osobola otya kubanga omira clomid obanga obadde dokita wo akuwadde eddagala lino erya clomid naye ng'ate oli kwebuuza ogenda kuba omira otya. Tugambye nti clomid ono alimu ekirungo kye bayita clomiphene citrate. So kino ekirungo kiyambako nnyo omukyala okuba ng'afuna olubuto. So if you have seen your menses today and you are looking at getting pregnant faster, what is going to happen is that you are supposed to begin counting from the first day you saw your menses. Let's assume that you've started seeing your periods today, you've seen your periods tomorrow, and then you've seen your periods on the next day. Let's say you saw your periods this month for only 3 days. How are you going to take clomid? The trick is this: you actually have to wait until you finish your periods, okay? Do not take your clomid when you are in your periods. You have to wait until when you finish your periods. So if you see your periods today, tomorrow you see your periods, the next day you see your periods, simply wait until you finish your period. That is on the 3rd day. So on the 3rd day, you begin counting 3 days, okay? When you count the 3 days, on the 3rd day, that's when you are going to begin taking your clomid. Let me explain it again. If you see your periods today, tomorrow you see your periods, the next day you see your periods. Wait until when you no longer see your periods, when you are no longer in your periods, okay? Let's assume that now, yesterday you finished your periods, right? And then you are now looking at when are you going to take clomid. Simply begin counting from today when you are not seeing your periods, okay? So you count and say that today is day 1, tomorrow is day 2, the next day is day 3. Now, on day 3, on the 3rd day, that's when you are supposed to take your clomid. In simple terms, you take clomid on the 3rd day when you have finished your periods. After you have finished your periods, you count 3 days. On the 3rd day, that's when you begin taking clomid, okay? And if you are taking this clomid, simply follow what your doctor has prescribed for you. If your doctor prescribed for you 50 milligrams of clomid, you have to take the 50 milligrams. Do not say that because you want things to work out very fast, you are going to take maybe a double dose. No, take your 50 milligrams. If your doctor prescribed for you a particular dosage, follow your doctor's instructions and then take your clomid on that particular day. Remember, our videos are for educational and informational purposes. We create awareness, but you have to follow what your doctor has prescribed for you because every situation is different for every woman. So if your doctor prescribed for you clomid, please do not share your clomid with your friends because there's a reason why you were prescribed this clomid. There's a reason why they told you to take this clomid. Remember, if you've not subscribed, subscribe so that you do not miss new videos we release on this channel. On this channel, Jared Massa, the health educator, we do create awareness about fertility and reproductive health. So, tubadde tuli kwogera nga tugamba nti obanga obadde wakuwadde clomid naye ng'oyagala okubanga omumira clomid ono, ky'oba olina okukola olina okumakinga sure nti olinda oba olina okumakinga sure nti oyita mu nnaku za periods. Oba olabye periods zo leero n'enkya n'oziraba n'oluddako n'oziraba, olina okumakinga sure nti omaliriza periods zo. Oba ozimaliriza then n'obala ennaku 3 nga toli mu periods. Katugeze ozimaliriza leero tokyali mu nsonga zo, bakuwadde chlomid wo, maliriza periods zo leero then bala nnaku 3. Olunaku olwokusatu, on the 3rd day, that's when you begin taking your chlomid. Lwotandika okubanga omira chlomid wo, era olina okubanga ogoberera instructions doctor wo z'aba akugambye. Olina okubanga omira akaweke akamu for 5 days. So if you are taking chlomid, you simply take 1 tablet of chlomid every day for 5 days. And remember, we said that if you are to calculate when you are going to take your chlomid, count the 3 days or the 4 days or even the 5 days when you are in your periods, okay? Finish your periods and then count 3 days afresh when you are no longer seeing your periods. And then on the 3rd day, when you are not in your periods, that 3rd day, that's when you are supposed to take your chlomid. And remember, we've said that you should follow your doctor's instructions, because if your doctor has prescribed for you a certain amount of chlomid or a certain dosage of chlomid, and maybe your doctor has specified that you take 50 milligrams of chlomid, do not reach home and say, because you want to get pregnant faster, you are going to take maybe 3 tablets, that's 150 milligrams. No, you will be overdosing yourself. And we know the risks of overdosing yourself with chlomid. The first risk is that you are actually at high risk of, when you overtake chlomid or when you take chlomid without following your doctor's instructions, you stand a high risk of developing what we call ovarian hyperstimulation disorder. So this is a situation whereby your ovaries are hyperstimulated. Simply, they become so big that they actually create swellings, also known as cysts. This can be confirmed on an ultrasound scan. So much as we know that chlomid is good, you should not overdose yourself on chlomid. You have to follow the dosage prescribed to you, because every woman has their own specific amounts of drugs they're supposed to take according to how your doctor has assessed your situation. So we've answered the question, pregnancy booster, how to take chlomid to get pregnant. If you have been asking yourself, how can you take your chlomid to get pregnant? How can you take your chlomid to get pregnant? Osobola otya okufuna olubuto ng'obadde olikumira chlomid? The question has been answered, and remember, you have to take your chlomid on the 3rd day after you have seen your periods. Let me answer all your questions down below in the comments, and remember, if you are looking at getting pregnant, you have tried to get pregnant, but things are not working out, there could be something happening, because world over, what normally prevents women from getting pregnant, or what prevents couples from getting pregnant, yes, there could be other causes, but the medical causes could be that the ovaries may not be functioning. You may be having what we call dysfunctional ovaries, okay? You could also be having disease of the fallopian tubes, and then you could also be having disease of the womb. And then lastly, you could be having an issue with your cervix. Your cervix may be actually incompetent. You get pregnant, but because the cervix is incompetent, the pregnancy ends into a miscarriage. And remember, in one of our videos on this channel, we've said that a miscarriage is a loss of pregnancy before 20 weeks. If this has happened, you've had repeated miscarriages, and specifically, you've not really been able to find out what's happening, we recommend that you need to be checked by your doctor, who will most likely recommend for you some tests. The tests we are talking about here include the pelvic ultrasound scan, and then also your doctor may look at some key tests, for example, a fertility hormonal screen test. A fertility hormonal screen test is very important because it will give us a picture, it will give us a clue of how your fertility hormones are. The most important hormones we are looking at include the follicle stimulating hormone, also known as FSH, and LH, which is also known as the luteinizing hormone. We know that the follicle stimulating hormone is that hormone which actually plays a very big part in stimulation of your follicles or in the stimulation of your eggs, so that when they grow on the 14th day, you will be able to ovulate. And when you ovulate, then the chances of getting pregnant will be increased. And then LH, also known as luteinizing hormone. It's the hormone which is released, and then it goes into your ovaries. And when it reaches your ovaries, it instructs them to actually release the egg. In other words, the LH hormone brings about the release of the egg, also known as a dominant follicle or a Graafian follicle. Ask me all your questions about fertility. You can book to consult me privately on actually my website. You can go through my website, but the link is in the video and in the description. You can always follow me up, and then we can have a private consultation. And then you can also donate to support our work on this channel. On this channel, Gerald Massa, the health educator, we do create awareness about fertility and reproductive health. I'm waiting for your questions. Kindly ask all your questions down below, and I will be able to answer your question. Thank you.